What's up, guys? Welcome back to the next episode of the Lucid Dreaming podcast. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about dream recall, and then I'll get into a few methods of how we're actually going to start lucid dreaming now. So, in terms of dream recall, I'm going to say one thing: it requires a little bit of grit. Of all things that could require grit, remembering your dreams is a funny one to me because you're sleeping the whole time. How come do you need to remember? Why do you need grit? But here's what it comes down to. Oftentimes, and I'll admit this first before anybody, I am not the biggest morning routine guy, but okay, understand that it's important to do this. So when you wake up in the morning, it is so important that the first thing that you think of is, what did you dream last night? All right, if you're thinking of this is going to help you remember your dreams, and ultimately that's going to lead to you having lucid dreams that you remember. The big problem is oftentimes people wake up, including myself, and then we just roll over. We'll say we'll write it down in 10 minutes or whatever because I just cannot move right now. Big trap. Big trap, okay? If you do that, very likely you're going to you're going to forget your dream. So what I would suggest to do instead is to have a little grit. If you need grit, this is going to be it. Check out that recording right there. If you have a little grit, you're going to need a little grit. Take the time to take your phone out and literally just write out a few sentences on your phone about what you dreamt last night. Could be a short little blurb, so you write out 2 sentences so that later on when you actually wake up, you take your phone and then you can actually flesh out the whole dream, and that way you have a better dream recall in total. Just make sure to write something because it's really important. All right, if you don't anchor that sort of dream that you had last night into some sort of short message, that can really light the fire to remember the whole of the dream later on, you're going to have a very hard time because remember, guys, dreams are generally stored in your short-term memory. So 5 minutes later, your short-term memory is short-term, so you could be forgetting the whole thing by then. Now, let's get into the lucid dreaming part. And today I'm going to be talking about how do you lucid dream? What's a method we can use to actually have lucid dreams? And I'd call them passive lucid dreams too. And what they are is basically you have to start doing reality checks throughout the day. Now, you might be asking, what is a reality check? I'm going to change hands from the camera. What is a reality check? Well, a reality check is basically, as the name suggests, you're checking to see if you're in reality. Now, there's a whole philosophical debate about, what is reality, is whatever, but we'll just simplify. You know what I mean, if you're dreaming or not, if you're awake or asleep. So, our goal is to make it that you form reality check habits, meaning that you start doing reality checks so much that it becomes a habit that you do throughout the day, and that one day while you're sleeping, you do a reality check out of habit, and boom, you did a reality check. It's going to fail in your dream, and you're going to realize that, of course, you're not in reality or you're not awake, and you're in fact sleeping and trigger a lucid dream. So what are some of the reality checks that you can do to actually, what reality checks can you make habits that will actually allow you to have lucid dreams, right? So I got a few. I'm going to tell you a few. There's a bunch. I know a lot of them, but I'll give you a good 3 of them right now. So I'm going to give you my top 3. The first one is the hands. Your hands are huge in terms of reality checks. I don't know what it is about our brain or our mind or our processing power, but we often tend to, our hands don't look good in dreams. Be straight up. Oftentimes, if you take a look at your hands in your dreams, you'll have 5, 6, 7 fingers instead of just the 5. Or sometimes you have 3 or 4 fingers. Your hands will just have more fingers than needed. They might be blurry, might be hard to count your fingers. So make it a habit throughout your day to take a look at your hands and just count them. Count your fingers. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just make sure that your hands look normal, because later on when you do it in a dream, you'll be finding that your hands aren't looking normal and that you are dreaming. And boom, lucid dream right there. Just to say another few that you can do with your hands, you can actually, I'm going to try to do this in front of the camera. You can actually try to push your hands through each other in a dream, and oftentimes your hands will actually pass right through each other. So that's another good way. If you don't like counting, you can push your hands through each other, and that's another great way to trigger lucid dreams. The next reality check, number 2, okay, it's just simply asking yourself, am I dreaming right now? Am I dreaming right now? Literally just take a second to have a moment of clarity to really just live in the present and look around and think, am I dreaming right now? Do things all look normal? Does it make sense how I got here? Do you remember how you got there? You do that 10, 12 times a day, make that a habit. Once you start doing that in dreams, you'll start realizing that it doesn't make sense where you are in your dreams. Think of it. Of all the dreams you have, do you remember how any of them started? You just kind of appear and then you're going and you just take whatever's happening in your dreams for what it is. Okay, and just kind of do everything. I remember last night, such a weird dream. I had a dream I haven't played this video game in a while. I was in a dream of playing Call of Duty. I had an RPK, okay, if any of you are COD gamers, I had a machine gun, and I got a 7-man feed. You know what? That's pretty good. So I got my Harrier strike, and then I was calling it, yeah. Long story, but if I took the second to ask myself, is this normal? What is going on? Am I dreaming right now? I guarantee I would look around and say, you know what? I have never held a machine gun in my life. I don't know what. I have a Harrier strike now. This is not something normal. I'm probably dreaming, or I'm in a video game. One of the others, those two. But if I had that habit last night during my dream, I would have had a lucid dream right that moment. So that's the second one, questioning reality throughout the day. And the third one I'll give you is reading. Okay, reading any sort of text or even clocks. Oftentimes in our dreams, and I'll come closer to the book so you can see. Oftentimes in our dreams, reading is not something we can do easily. I don't know why it is. Again, something with the brain. But when you try to take time to read a book, so I'll just try to read this one. This one's funny. It says the Pop book. I know it's backwards on the front facing camera. But if I were to take the time to try to read that in my dream, I might read the Pop book. First time, look away, look back. It might say something completely different. Now, it might read the Pot Grook. I don't know. Or if you stare at the words, maybe. Oftentimes people report that the letters moved, or they start changing, or they turn into hieroglyphics. All things that are not normal for the waking world, and is a good trigger to remind you that it's very likely that you might be having a dream right this moment. Boom, time to go into the lucid dream. That's another great way. Watch this, boys. Oh, we're gonna get the light in here. Oh my God, is that lighting better or what? Wow, that's sexy. The other thing too with that, you can take the time to read any sort of clock. So you see there's a clock behind me there. Oh, you can't zoom in. But oftentimes looking at the clock, you'll have trouble maybe reading it. Same thing with the words, I should say. You have trouble reading words sometimes in dreams, and you might be thinking, this is odd. Why is this happening? The big thing that I would recommend people to do though, if you want to use this reality check, is find some sort of text near you. I always wear this dream band, so I could do it with that if I wanted. Read it, look away, read it, look away, read it. If it's the same 3 times, very likely you are not dreaming. If it changes, boom, dream check, reality check, you're in dream, lucid dream time, and then go do whatever you want. One thing I will note about these dream checks though, okay? So oftentimes people make the mistakes when they do these dream checks, or reality checks, that they get into the habit, but they don't really do them. You know what I mean? Like they're doing them, but they're not doing them. They're not thinking of doing them. They just kind of do this one. None. They don't really look at their hand. You guys got to be conscious while you look at your hand. You got to be conscious while you're doing the dream check. Because if not, the risk you run is that you do a dream check unconsciously or out of habit without really thinking in your dream as well. And then you don't have that awakening moment where you realize you're dreaming, and then you don't get into the lucid dream. So you got to make sure that you do your dream checks conscious, so you're actually thinking while you do them. 5 fingers, I am not in a dream. Like take a few extra seconds to do it, because it will pay dividends later on when you're actually trying to have lucid dreams. There's one more thing I wanted to touch on here. Let me just think for a second in terms of lucid dreaming. Oh, and how does this all stack up? So I'll kind of recap a little bit. Basically, I have the goal for you guys to make this that you do a reality check maybe once an hour. Once an hour is a good amount of time to do a reality check. If you do that, you'll do about 10 a day. You're awake about at least 10 hours a day. You get an hour in the morning, you can take off, an hour at night you can take off, and then 2 hours that are freebies. That is a good amount of time to actually form the habit to do reality checks. The more the merrier, honestly. And even better if you could just be conscious totally and always be aware. But having these reality checks formed as an hour habit, great thing to do. So how can you do that? Now, because there's many ways. Myself, I've created what I'm wearing on my wrist. It says, "Are you dreaming?" As a little reminder for myself to do a reality check. I just did one right there in front of you. But for you, you can do anything. So some people have it on their phone backgrounds. They have a background that says, "Are you dreaming?" And that's their way reminding them to do the reality check. Every time they pick up their phone, they see the background and they think, "Am I dreaming? No? Okay, let's keep going." Another thing a lot of people do, they anchor it to some sort of normal daily habit. So for example, if you have a daily habit of going to school, or sorry, maybe every time you pass through a doorway, do a reality check that way. Every time you drink some water, do a reality check then. The best way, I will say though, if you want to anchor your reality check to something good, or effective I should say, is anchor your reality check habit to some sort of dream sign you have. And I'll make a whole different podcast just on dream signs. But let's say, for example, you've been recording your dreams for a few nights now, and now you've found that you have the recurring dream that you're always in school, or you're very often in school doing different things. Make it so that when you go to school in real life, you have a anchor. It triggers your habit to do a reality check. Am I dreaming? Nope. I'm just at school. Normal things are happening. Boom. You know you're not dreaming. Now, when you're dreaming and you have that recurring dream of school, you see the school. Boom. Am I dreaming? Boom. Yes, I am. Lucid dreaming time. Time to blow the school up. Right? So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be giving you guys. That's my tip of the day today. I'm going to try to be more diligent in recording these every day. So, always, always, always try to have the best day possible. I wish it from me to you. Heart. Have a good day and enjoy your night. I hope you guys have a lucid dream tonight, because I know you can, man. I know you can. Bye-bye.